Good morning. It's morning for me. I'm out on one of my sojourns into the wilds and into the forest at the ocean, which you may hear roiling and coming alive in the background. And I just wanted to take some time to share with you about the first Sourcebook that I just created called The Mother's Grief. A journey into your tender heart. And the ocean is a really applicable place to be in sharing about this Sourcebook with you. It's a place where I have journeyed so many times into the deepest chambers of my heart. And the ocean has a way of expanding, is the expansion that allows us to really come home to all that we are, to all that we feel, without judgment. Just a pure, unbridled, innocent experience of feeling. And then through that, we discover something about ourselves that's not quite of anything we prior constructed. So the mother's grief is a testament to a passionate expression I wish to bring forward into the world. And that is of grief as an invitation and as a threshold into a world we've never quite understood, and we've shied from, and we've run from, and we've labeled. Ever since I was a young girl, I was really drawn to grief. I come from a very rich Polish heritage, and I had many extended family, a really large Polish kin and clan. And as a young girl, there were a lot of people in my family who passed on. So from a very young age, I was attending funerals and engaging with that process of letting go, but also that innocent heart of a girl who could feel and see something else was going on here. And I wanted to learn about it. And so I conjured up and created in my own life experience after experience of really knowing grief intimately. And I discovered it was a friend. I discovered it was one of my greatest allies, because it took me to a place that my outside world and my understandings of the outside world had often told me, no, don't go there. It's really dark there, or you will not, be sane, or you'll know yourself as a depressed being. But just like the ocean, I discovered I melted into something that was unexplainable, and that something that was so vast, and it allowed things to crumble and fall away like nothing else could. And so I entered my grief, even when no one else around me was comfortable with it. And I often came to nature. I always came to nature to allow myself to feel that. And I often came to the ocean. So the Mother's Grief is a grief support sourcebook. And it's filled with my artistry and my photography and the wisdom I gleaned and questions in a gentle hand that's reaching out to you to say, come. Mwah. Come into your grief. Come in. That was sap, tree sap. Come into your grief so fully. You will not be the same person when you allow yourself to unbind from the notions that any single part of you could be terrorizing or frightening or not for your highest best. And I have found that grief is one of the most poignant doorways into the divine feminine, because the feminine feels, she feels it all, and she doesn't want to hold back her feelings, even when they look pretty gruesome or harrowing, and they look terrorizing to others, to let go that much and be that wild and surrendered to just emotion moving through. So I created this little testament of my own experience as a platform for others to really cultivate and carve out the safe ground and foundation to really go deeply into yourself in a way that only you can. The outside world can't take you there, because your grief and your feelings and what you will discover and glean, the treasures you will glean from that, are yours. And that's priceless. So through this, it's a 30-page grief support source book, which is available in printed or digital version. And it comes with 3 audios. One of them is actually recorded here at the ocean. And it's an invitation into what grief feels like. And so often when we get right to the edge of the grief threshold, we pull back because rarely have we felt or received an external container that can hold us to continue to breathe and to continue to expand into these very uncharted places of ourselves and our history and our future, but more so our present longing and capacity to live completely and totally in the fullness of who we are. There's also 2 support wombings, grief support wombings, and those are transmissions that are audio, and they are offered from a really deep place in my own path and connection with grief and with Source to aid and cultivate one's own cellular experience of where in your body and in your notions grief has hidden and been locked away, so that that can be unlocked and you can discover the richer treasures for yourself. You can receive this in digital or printed version. And it was my first printed project, which was really liberating, exciting, and really innocent for me. And really fun to see in reflection, so many of the photographs I've taken on my own grief passage. And just to really see how often our artistry and our creative expression carries so much more than our words or intentions ever could. So I hope you will explore this more. My delight is to get this out into the world so that all of us might be like children again, just totally feeling and not judging ourselves in those feelings. For as we do that, something really extraordinary, magical and unexplainable begins to unfold. So check out The Mother's Grief. It's all about the work that I do in Feminine Alchemy. So entitled The Mother's Grief, and it's really about deepening into our own inner anchoring of the mother's love for ourselves. It's for everybody, man, woman, child, adult, couples. And may you discover your own passage into the tenderest place in your heart that truly opens to realize there's nothing we need to ever close down to. Might we keep expanding and expanding into that sovereign connection of allowing ourselves to truly be and feel all that we are.